Hi there. I'm doing a little better than I was earlier in the week. I wanted to have a happy new year, but I went down a bit of a rabbit hole that made me very frustrated. It's when people try to use the sociological definitions of words to inflame those that they know are going to use the colloquial or dictionary definitions of words. They use this wording, and then if you have a problem with any of it, or if it makes you uncomfortable, then I guess that should be awarded or something, you know. Oh, that's great. People who have this idea that to take care of racism, we need to make white people uncomfortable. That's this big message that it's like, that's not a goal. Making people uncomfortable is not a goal. You know, it may occur when people are figuring something out, but and then there are some people who sort of take this to the degree that if you're not actively doing something to try to end white supremacy, not talking I am talking about the sociological definition, right? Where it's a system. You know, if we're not trying to do something to try to stop that, then we're supporting white supremacy. Yeah, it's, you know, if you just live your life, you're supporting white supremacy. And there's this idea that the wealth of this entire country is based on initially started with slave labor. And my reaction to that is, how is that my problem? You know? I shouldn't have to pay for the sins of things that my great-great-great-grandfather may or may not have done. Just like I shouldn't have to pay for the sins of my father or my mother or my brother or if I had kids. Well, that would if I was a bad parent, I guess I could be blamed, for things like that, but I don't have kids, so but this idea that we are somehow responsible for things that people who are dead have done is just outrageous. It's outrageous. We can try to make things as good as we can. Now what the other thing that I disagree with is this sorry to use this phrase because it pisses people off, but equality of outcome model. This idea that we can somehow, balance things out, that using methods where, you get the job because you fit this demographical quota, instead of having the merit be the top thing that people pay attention to. To me, we shouldn't even have race as something that you have to check when you're, applying. You're filling in an application somewhere. I don't think even race should even be able to be asked. That's none of anyone's business. If it's on paper, it's none of your business what my race is. That's how I feel about it. Why should I have to say that I'm white? Oh, non-Hispanic Caucasian or something. Why should I have to fill that out? Why should anyone have to fill that out? I think that's... I kind of find that I think that gives someone an excuse to be racist. The person that's looking at the application, it gives them an excuse to be racist. If you remove that entirely, of course, then people say, well, what about people's names? Well, that's true, and some people discriminate against someone's name, and that's unfortunate, and I don't think that should be able to occur. But and if it's proven that that's the reason why someone didn't get hired is just because of their name, I think that's something that someone should be able to sue over. I just think that's bullshit for someone to be able to not hire someone because you just don't like their name. It's crap. Oh, the name sounds cheap, person. Well, who fucking cares? Maybe your name sounds cheap or sounds like X to someone else. We're going to go around judging people's names. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of rambling, but there's a lot of things that need to be taken care of that will help minorities. There's a lot of things that needed to be taken care of in our I shouldn't make this one of these rambling videos. I should cut this up and just remove that last part, right? But I'm not. I'm just going to make this a raw type of video. There's a lot of stuff still with police brutality to deal with. There's the type of profiling that goes on where someone, oh, this is a black person in this neighborhood. Oh, well, we need to check to make sure they're not a criminal. Just the idea that someone black, driving while black. Yeah, this stuff actually happens. We need to put an end to that, and I need to put an end to the sound of the heater. Because it's annoying when you're trying to pay attention to a video, but even, much less annoying than my getting up, right? But there's a lot of bias still left. Obviously, there are people who will report someone for being in a business, frequenting an establishment while black. We can see that there's problems still going on. No, we can't put on blinders to that and use the excuse of colorblindedness. I get that, because the excuse doesn't work. You're obviously not being colorblind if you're reporting someone for happening to be black at an establishment, right? You're obviously not colorblind, so there's a lot of stuff that needs to be taken care of. Oh man, and in the prison system too. Private prisons, but that has to do with that's more of an issue that affects everyone. When we see an injustice toward black people, we need to speak out. That's the way I feel about it. Where we should speak out. Well, need to, should, okay, well, about the same thing, right? But there are some people, man, and I guess I just have to ignore them. I have to learn to ignore them, even if it's pointed out to me, look at what these people are saying. I just have to ignore it. Because when people say these things, some of these negative things, like this Michael, I can't remember his last name, from The Root, from the online news, whatever you want to call it, The Root. You try to read some things, and it's just, all it does is make you feel bad. I was, I've already struggled so much in my life with feeling like I'm bad for existing just for being gay, right? And I have to resist that sort of thing from the church upbringing, okay? And I've gotten past most of that. It still lingers, though. And then here's this new thing that I'm supposed to feel that way because of, well, I'm white, therefore I'm automatically guilty of everything that my great-great-grandfathers may or may not have done. It's just, well, let's add some more guilt onto it. Well, that's cool. Guilt is cool. No, it's not cool. It sucks. I'm willing to bet that sort of thing sometimes when it reaches that kind of guilt, reaches the wrong person, they might lash out in a very negative way. I can picture someone, being given that kind of guilt and they're already unstable and they go on a school shooting or something. Well, just this guilt, and the guilt is, and it feels like the guilt is being pushed by our educational institutions. This guilt. Well, you should feel bad. You should feel bad, and I don't want to feel that way. And then some people will say, well, see, equality. Now you know what equality feels like. So in order to feel equal, I should feel bad? And you're saying that's somehow a way to balance this out? Equal misery all around? You can't have one group that's, you can't have the majority enjoying being the majority? The benefits of being the majority? No, they have to feel guilty about it. The original sin, or let's go back to that now, right? It's just, I am sorry. There are enough forces out there for us to and enough things that we do in our lives that we regret, that we feel guilty over. But just our very existence, unless we're going out of our way to try to make this major change, and then even then we're still not going to, someone's going to say you're not being good allies because of some microaggression, something or other. Sometimes it just doesn't matter how much people try. We're still bad. We still can't be trusted because something. See, now you know how black people feel. Anyway. No, I don't know how black people feel. I don't go through the things that black people go through. No. And no amount of guilt you push onto white people is going to make up for that. To me, it just makes the situation worse. It seemed for a while things were going really nicely. But it's just weird. Since we've had Trump elected, the extreme side of the left has just skyrocketed. And it's just like, what's up? What happened? Where is the left anymore? The left-right dichotomy, whatever, the left-right thing doesn't seem to work anymore. That description doesn't seem to work anymore. What is the left anymore? And when there's so many people that don't seem to care, that the language that they're using infuriates people and gives them the wrong ideas. They say, well, you just need to learn our new definitions. Then you'll understand. No, stop it. Why do you keep putting out this stuff when you know how people take it? You know how it's going to be considered. You know what the colloquial definitions of these things are. You know what people think of when they hear phrases like white supremacy. They think the KKK. No, we're not talking about that. Well, if you're not talking about that, then stop using those words. Well, my professor uses it, and this academia uses it. Therefore, we have to use it. It's the smart thing to do. No, it's the stupid thing to do. Just, it's stupid. Well, you just have to get educated. So do you know what that does to people? That makes people feel It makes people feel like in order to be educated, you have to be anti-white. Now, that's not what it is, but that's what it feels like for people. And there seems to be very little effort to try to get people to understand this stuff without using that wording, without using this. I mean, I've seen articles saying that white supremacy is why we haven't done much about why nothing gets done about climate change. Oh, because of the way it affects this country and everything. It's like sociology defines this stuff. Oh, everything is revolved around white supremacy. There's this big thing here, and all these little, think of petals of flowers, around this base. White supremacy. And yeah, there may be some truth to the way that they break those things apart, just like you can break apart music. In all these, you can study music theory, and you can know all the terminology, know these different ways of breaking things apart. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the only way to break things apart. Someone can make a song and not be thinking about any of those patterns at all. They could be thinking of completely different patterns that aren't even ever discussed in music theory. But as it's been said, learning the terminology in music theory is how you discuss it with other people who know the terminology. It's a way of exchanging information about music without actually having to show direct examples of the music. It's also a way of explaining music, but people use their knowledge to try to claim things like, oh, I know how you wrote that. Well, no, you actually don't. You don't know what the intent behind that was. A lot of this terminology doesn't take into consideration intent at all. When like white supremacy, it doesn't take that into consideration at all. People aren't trying to be that way. In fact, some people are trying to go out of their way to not be that way. I'd say the majority of people, do not want to be that way. But, well, they're still considered, oh, you're supporting white supremacy. Well, because it's a big system, and now they have to learn about this system and learn, it's just like, people aren't going to do that. People aren't going to suddenly learn these things. What fucking idiot. No, they're an asshole. Whoever started this kind of wording, they're an asshole. And I think they knew what they were doing when they worded it this way. When they chose this phrasing. Same thing with just the word racism. The same thing. Well, let's redefine it so it's to try to, so people can say something is racist and be able to go back and forth between the definitions at their leisure. So when they're losing, they can just switch to the other definition. That's the really frustrating thing about a lot of this. Same thing, oh, the patriarchy. Oh, you're supporting the patriarchy. It's a system. It's the same sort of shit. And it's like, oh, well, in order to discuss this, we have to use this terminology. No, we don't have to use this terminology. Why don't we stop using that terminology? Let's stop making it sound like people are just guilty just for existing. Oh, you're not trying to do something to dismantle patriarchy. You're not trying to do something to dismantle white supremacy. You're misogynistic. You're sexist. You're racist. And it's just old. But it's also frustrating, and it gets to us. We try not to show how much it gets to us. If we show how much it gets to us, you say, oh, male white tears. Then when we don't show it getting to us, you're saying, see, they don't have any emotions. They don't care. God damn it, most of us do care. We're just tired of being demonized. That's what it feels like to so many people. We're tired of being demonized. We're tired of being ridden with guilt of things that we didn't even fucking do. Oh, we're part of a system. We should feel guilty. People just want to live their lives and treat people decently. That's the main thing, you know? Anyway, I've been getting back into music, and that's been good. Nothing that I want to share yet, because it's just been, you know how, well, if you're a musician, you know how it is. You write these little pieces of a song, and maybe you'll piece it together with something else, but it's just like, sometimes it's just like tone poetry, so to speak, right? And you write these little things here and there, and I'm starting to do that. There's another song I need to finish, but I need to buy the program Reaper in order to finish it, because I was using it on there. They had a 60-day trial, and I was using it on that, so I need to buy that. But I guess I'm just rambling now, so... And maybe this has been going in and out of focus, because I'm using a lens I don't normally use. I was originally filming. I didn't want to change the lens. We had a windstorm last night that was like really. It was really powerful. We for very quick moments we lost power about 3 or 4 times. Just really quick moments, you know, where the clocks are flashing and stuff. Yeah, strong winds. I recorded some of it. And I said, it's not worth uploading a video for that. Oh, they go, oh, big deal, some trees. You're watching the wind blowing the trees. But if you knew what the trees normally look like, you'd go, oh, wow. But anyway, blah, 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 blah.